Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some explosive news that's been shaking up the NFL landscape, especially for us Steelers fans. You know, the kind of news that makes you sit up straight and pay attention because it's potentially a game changer, not just for this upcoming season, but for the future of the AFC North as a whole. And yes, I'm talking about something that's been buzzing around the NFL circles. Baker Mayfield, yes, Baker Mayfield, possibly heading to Pittsburgh. I know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but let's dive into the details, the implications, and what this could really mean for our beloved Steelers. Now, Baker Mayfield, for those of you who have been watching the NFL closely over the last few years, has been one of the most talked about quarterbacks in the league. Remember when he was drafted first overall by the Cleveland Browns? It was a seismic shift at the time. Baker's journey has been anything but smooth, but he's shown resilience, grit, and a fiery personality that fans either love or love to hate. Over the past couple of seasons, he's really started to prove himself as a bona fide starting quarterback, especially with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fact, Mayfield has worked his way into being considered a top 10 quarterback in the league, a surprising rise for many but one that's backed by real production on the field. And what's interesting is that, according to recent reports, there's a strong buzz about a potential trade that could see Baker Mayfield donning the black and gold of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is this really happening? Are the Steelers seriously considering this move? Well, let's break it down. The NFL rumor mill has been abuzz with discussions, especially after Bleacher Report highlighted a hypothetical trade scenario that could shake up the AFC North. The crux of it? The Steelers, who are always looking to strengthen their quarterback position, might be eyeing Baker Mayfield as a contingency plan, especially considering the uncertain future of some division rivals. You see, one of the main reasons this rumor has gained traction is because of Aaron Rodgers' recent comments about retirement. Now, Rodgers, the legendary Green Bay Packers and now New York Jets quarterback, has hinted at hanging up his cleats after the 2025 season. If that happens, the Jets will be on the hunt for a new quarterback, and the AFC North could see a power vacuum. The Steelers, always strategic, might see an opportunity here, especially if they can bring in a quarterback like Mayfield, who has proven he can lead a team, make plays, and energize a fanbase. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of the trade talks, or at least the hypothetical proposals that have been floating around. Now, there's no official trade proposal on the table, nothing concrete yet, but the discussions are based on what it would realistically take for the Steelers to acquire Baker Mayfield. And here's where it gets really interesting. The key question is, what would the Buccaneers want in return? Tampa Bay, after all, has invested heavily in Mayfield, and they see him as their long-term solution under center. So, for the Steelers to even consider this move, they'd need to part ways with some valuable draft capital, specifically first-round picks. And not just one. The proposal that's been discussed involves the Steelers sending their 2026 first-round pick, which, given the Steelers' track record of building through the draft, is a significant asset. But that's not all. The Buccaneers would likely want more, possibly a second first-round pick in 2027 or another high-value selection. Why? Because Tampa Bay needs to ensure they're getting enough in return for a quarterback who's still relatively young, talented, and under contract for the next 2 seasons. Mayfield has shown flashes of brilliance, and his fiery personality has won over many fans in Tampa Bay, making him a popular figure in the locker room and among supporters. Now, I want to pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Seriously, if you're enjoying this deep dive, smash that like button. It really helps us out and makes sure you stay updated with all the latest Steelers news. Back to the trade scenario. If the Buccaneers were willing to part ways with Mayfield for 2 first-round picks, it would be a no-brainer for the Steelers. Those picks, especially in the first round, are crucial for building the future of the franchise, especially on the offensive and defensive lines. Pittsburgh has always prioritized trench play, building solid offensive and defensive lines that can dominate in the trenches. Giving up 2 first-rounders might seem like a hefty price, but if it brings a quarterback like Mayfield, who's shown he can lead a team and bring energy to the offense, it might just be worth it. Think about it. Mayfield's talent, combined with the Steelers' solid offensive line, could make for a dangerous combination. And let's not forget, Mayfield has already shown he can succeed in a system that emphasizes balanced attack. His stats with Tampa Bay have been impressive. He's been among the top in passing yards and touchdowns, showing he can be a catalyst for a high-powered offense. And with the Steelers' coaching staff, Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, and that young, talented offensive line, there's a real opportunity for Mayfield to thrive and help push the team back into playoff contention. But of course, this isn't just about the stats or the draft picks. It's about the chemistry, the leadership, and the mindset Baker brings to the table. Fans have rallied behind him because of his fiery personality, his resilience, and the fact that he's proven he can overcome adversity. Many Steelers fans see a lot of parallels between Mayfield and some of the great quarterbacks in franchise history, players who brought passion and grit to the field. And let's be honest, after the roller coaster of the last few seasons, having a quarterback with that kind of fire might just be what this team needs to push over the edge. Now some might argue, hey, why give up so much for a guy who's still unproven in some ways? That's a fair point. But in the NFL, you have to take risks to get to the next level. The Steelers have always been a franchise that builds through the draft but also knows when to make bold moves. And considering the AFC North is getting tougher every year with teams like Baltimore, Cincinnati, and even the Jets, who could be a threat with Rodgers or another quarterback, the Steelers need to stay aggressive. And speaking of the division, let's talk about how this potential move could shake things up. If Pittsburgh manages to land Mayfield, it could immediately elevate their offense. The energy, the competitive edge he brings, could be just the spark needed to get the team back into serious playoff contention. Plus, with the current roster, there's a lot of talent that can be maximized, players like George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris, and a solid defense that's always been the backbone of the Steelers' success. Baker could be the piece that ties it all together, especially if he gets the right coaching and support. But of course, we have to consider the flip side. What if Tampa Bay declines such an offer? Well, then the Steelers will have to explore other options in the quarterback market, maybe look for a veteran free agent or develop one of their young guys. Still, the potential of adding Mayfield is too tempting for a franchise that's always looking to maximize their window of opportunity. And let's not forget, Mayfield's contract situation means he's affordable compared to other top-tier quarterbacks, which makes him an attractive target. Now, for us Steelers fans, this is a roller coaster of emotions. On one hand, the idea of adding a quarterback like Mayfield, who's got grit, talent, and a chip on his shoulder, is incredibly exciting. On the other hand, the potential cost, those first-round picks, are a significant investment. It's a classic NFL dilemma. How much are you willing to give up for a guy who could be the missing piece? And honestly, I think the Steelers' front office has shown in the past that they're not afraid to make bold moves when the opportunity arises. So, what do you think? Would you be happy seeing Baker Mayfield in Pittsburgh? Do you believe he's the quarterback that can finally take us back to the Super Bowl? Or do you think the Steelers should hold on to their draft capital and focus on building through the draft? I want to hear your thoughts because this is what makes our community strong. Whether you're all in or a bit cautious, your opinion matters. And before we wrap up, remember that the NFL offseason is always full of surprises. Free agency, trades, draft rumors, everything can change in a heartbeat. So, stay tuned because we'll be here to break it all down as it happens. The Steelers are always in the mix, always looking for that edge, and right now, it feels like we're on the brink of something big. Whether it's a trade, a new signing, or a surprise draft pick, I promise you, this season is going to be one to remember. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. We're all in this together, and no matter what happens, our passion for the Steelers remains unbreakable. Thanks for watching, and as always, Keep the faith and keep rooting for the black and gold.